Hello, good afternoon, students. Welcome to another class of challenging questions by Chiku Chong. Okay, I hope that you are enjoying your holidays. The holidays have just started, and I hope that you will be using this time to revise a lot of your subjects that you have not. I think more or less your subjects are already over, except for biology and perhaps chemistry. All right, okay. So I hope that you are using your time very well. And today I'm going to touch on one challenging essay question that is of the SPM format. All right. Okay. So if you'd like to let me know who you are, you can just type your comment to say hi, and I can see your profile. All right. Okay. So to those who are watching, all right, I hope that you will stay alert and copy the answers that I have prepared for you. All right. So I'm going to share screen now. Right. I hope you can see this. Okay. So let's start. Yeah, today's lesson won't be very long because I have one question for you. Last week I did two questions because we were short of time. Right, I have 1 week that I was not well and I could not have any lesson. Okay, so today I hope that I make it short and sweet so that you have more time to revise other subjects. All right, okay. So let me see who's here with me. Elizabeth. All right, Elizabeth. Good evening. All right. So are you prepared for the lesson that I'm going to give you? All right, okay, so I hope that you are using your time well. Okay, so let me share screen, yeah, right. Okay, you can see this, right? All right, so now today's question is on, what do they call that, immune system. So this is a question that usually is quite popular in the SPM, right? Either circulatory system, immune system, ecology or ecosystem, green technology, and also genetics. You will see that most of these chapters are covered in the essay part. Okay, so today I'm going to go through this. All right, let's start, yeah? Okay, where's my slide? Okay, right. Because I'm using one screen, so it's covering each, I'm covering the screen. It's very difficult to maneuver. All right, okay, so for those who do not know me, so I've been teaching for 31 years, 31 and a half. So my major is biology and English. All right, double major. Okay, so let's start with essay question. All right, now the first part is question A. So diagram 1.1 shows a membrane lining involved in the first line of defense in human. So as you can see here, I'm sure you can recognize that this is the trachea, right? That is given it's given in the diagram. So trachea is lined by this row of cells which are specialized. Okay, now explain how this membrane lining on the trachea destroys the bacteria in the air that we breathe in. All right, okay. So the air that we breathe in has a lot of foreign matter. That means bacteria, dust, particles, and all these sort of things. So how does this lining, you will see the structure called cilia. So you have to mention all these hairy projections on the cell. Okay, they are called cilia, and that helps to actually filter the bacteria and dust particles from entering our bronchus, bronchiole, and so on. All right, into the lungs. So this one is very simple. It's only 2 marks. So A part, usually beginning questions are always very simple, only 2 or 3 marks, and then it comes a bit more challenging towards the end. Okay, let's look at the scheme, yeah? So how does this membrane destroy the bacteria? Okay, let's look at the scheme. All right, if you have any questions, you can just type in the chat. I will be able to see it. All right. Okay, first thing you talk about, since the name is not given. All right, what is the name of this lining? This is called the mucous membrane. So since it's not given, if you write the name, so it's most likely that you can be given marks for that. So for example, for the first point, P1, this lining is called mucous membrane. Okay, or you can also mention the type of cell that it has. So you have to be specific. What type of cell is it? You notice the diagram does not write the cell, the name of the cell, but the type of cell that, the one that produces mucus. All right, let me go back to the diagram. Then you can see the picture again. You can see this, with a lot of green dots here. These are this is the cell that produces mucus. So we call this the goblet cell. All right, so that's why your throat always have a lot of like mucus lining it, and that helps to actually filter the bacteria that comes in your air. All right, epithelial cells have cilia. So first point, you either mention there is mucus secreted by the goblet cell, or the epithelial cells have cilia, the tiny projections that's going to sweep the bacteria and so on. Okay, that's the first point. Now, second point here is what is the function? What does the mucus do? What does the cilia do? Okay, they trap bacteria. Okay, because they mention bacteria. So don't mention dust particles because the question wants you to mention bacteria. They're asking for bacteria. So this mucus or cilia, they trap the bacteria. Another way you can talk about it is mucus contains lysozyme. Okay, this is the enzyme that is produced by that is in this mucus, and the function of lysozyme is to break down the bacteria. Okay, now you must write lysozyme, not lysosome, because lysosome is the organelle that produces the lysozyme. So it's actually the lysozyme is a substance, the lysosome is the organelle. Okay, so mucus contains lysozyme, and the function of lysozyme is to break down bacteria, or you can say digest bacteria or kills bacteria. All right, okay, so that very simple. These three points already mentioned or answered the question. How does it deal with the bacteria that enters the air? All right, so this is only 2 marks, so you can write any 2 points. Okay, all right, so it's very simple. The first question is always simple, either 2 or 3 marks, and it gets a little bit more challenging afterwards. Okay, so if you want to copy this down, you can refer to the link again later, right? You will be able to pause it and you can copy down nicely. Okay, let's go to the second part. Okay, question B. Now, question B, diagram 1.2 shows the skin of a person who has been pricked by a rusty nail. Okay, so this happens to us. We are always exposed to danger. After 2 days, the wound developed pus. Okay, pus is the nana in the end. So the white substance that comes out when you have an infection inside your body. Okay, so let's look at the diagram here. All right, now what is the question? They want you to explain or describe how this injury, okay, the nail, pricked by the nail, stimulates the response of the body defense system to overcome the infection. That means, what is your body going to do when you have this kind of injury? Okay, so you will see in the diagram here a lot of labels are given. So just touch on this. You must talk about these things. Number 1, look at histamine. Histamine is a substance released by the cells inside the injured cells. Okay, talk about histamine. You need to talk about the bacteria as well. Okay, so the bacterial later will be killed off and all that. Then you need to talk about, this is the white blood cell. Okay, white blood cell, but you have to be specific. All right, don't just say white blood cell. You have to say the name of the white blood cell. And then look at the blood capillary. It also carries out certain kind of response. And of course, talk about the pus because it's given in the question. All right, all these things you must touch. Okay, so that you can get your full marks. All right, okay, let's look at the scene. 8 marks here. This question carries 8 marks. So you must have at least 8 points. As always, you can write more. And please, I do encourage you to write more, right? Because in the essay, we will just pick out what is right for according to the scheme. If you hit the scheme, you have what the scheme wants, you will be given a mark. All right, so try to write as much as you can. Okay, so first of all, since the type of response is not given, the defense system, so you can give the name. Okay, this is the second line of defense. Now, the first line of defense is the skin, but now you see the skin is broken. The skin is broken, that means the first line of defense has been breached. That means sudah bocor, right? Sudah terbolos. That means the first line of defense is already not able to protect you. Now, when the skin is broken, you rely on the second line of defense, which includes the response of these white blood cells to carry out phagocytosis, to eat up the bacteria, and so on. Okay, so you can give the name, right? Since it's not given in the question. So remember, whatever is given a question, do not repeat. Whatever is not given a question, you write. Okay, because there might be marks given for that. Okay, second point. Now, so this, when the nail pricks your skin, damaged or injured tissues will release histamine. So the point here is not histamine. We don't give a mark for histamine because histamine is given in the question. But what we are giving the mark for is to say, where is the histamine coming from? Who produces the histamine? Okay, where is the histamine coming from? The histamine comes from the damaged tissues or the injured tissue. That is what we want. Okay, if you say histamine is released, no marks because it is shown in the diagram. Histamine is there. So don't say histamine is released. You have to mention what produces the histamine. Okay, so always remember what is given, don't repeat. Okay, third point. So what does histamine do? Histamine stimulates the inflammatory response. You will see that the picture there, the place that's pricked, it becomes red. It becomes bengkak. You know, bengkak, the whole thing is like swollen. All right. This happens when you're bitten by mosquito as well. The part becomes swollen. It is actually your body's response to that mosquito bite. So same thing when you're pricked by a needle or a nail, your body will respond to it, and the response here is become red. It will become bengkak. Right? It will just become inflamed. Okay, and then the inflamed part is swollen or becomes red, and you feel painful. It feels painful. All right. Okay. So this one is not given in the diagram, so you can write. Okay. So what is the function of histamine besides just besides being what is the function of histamine? Why do you need it to become inflamed? All right. Because histamine causes the capillary blood capillaries to expand. Expand means it allows more blood to be channeled to the area of infection. Or you can also mention vasodilation occurs. That's where the diameter of the blood vessel increases. So more of these white blood cells, to be specific, it is the phagocytes, to be released into the injury site to ingest the bacteria, to eat up the bacteria. Okay, so the histamine reaction here is to the function is to make the capillaries expand. Okay, and then when the capillaries expand, so more blood will flow to that area. Okay, expand means the diameter increases, so more blood will flow to the area, and then what else happens there? All right. So next point, histamine causes blood capillaries to become more permeable to phagocytes or neutrophils or monocytes. So the histamine causes the blood vessels to these phagocytes or neutrophils or monocytes will leak out. It will come out from the capillary into the infection site. Okay, so here I mentioned specifically you cannot be too general. You do not write white blood cells. You do not write leukocyte, because if you do, it will not be accepted, because we need you to be specific. Okay, the specific here is these cells, phagocyte, neutrophil, and monocytes, will carry out phagocytosis, where they will start to ingest the bacteria or eat up the bacteria. All right, okay. So next point. So P8, that's why I mentioned phagocytosis occurs, because only these three types, phagocytes or neutrophil or monocyte, can carry out phagocytosis. Okay, the leukocyte is too general, because leukocytes also includes lymphocyte. The lymphocyte does not carry out phagocytosis. The lymphocyte produces antibody. Now that is the third line of defense. So you cannot mention lymphocyte. You have to mention either phagocyte, neutrophil, or monocyte, because this is the second line of defense. Okay, eating up the bacteria, phagocytosis is the second line of defense. Okay, next. So what does phagocytosis do? All right, the function here is to destroy or to digest the bacteria, kill off the bacteria. Okay, now as a result of that, when your white blood cells or the monocyte and neutrophil eat up the bacteria, all right, so there will be certain phagocytes they'll be destroyed in the process. So dead phagocytes or dead tissues are the things that form the pus, the white color substance that you see, nana, right, the pus. And then next point, at the same time, you will have clotting factors. The platelets will accumulate at the area of infection, okay, or the inflammation, and that will trigger or start the blood clotting mechanism. All right, okay, so all this is second line of defense. So in this question, do not mention the third line of defense, the antibody antigen response. That's the third line of defense, okay? And do not mention the first line of defense, because that one is before the skin is broken. So now the entire question here is just on second line of defense. All right, okay, so any 8 points from here to get your full marks. All right, okay. Yes. Now, any comments from anybody? Okay, nothing yet. Yeah. All right, Elizabeth. I hope you are okay. Yeah, can understand and follow through the scheme. All right. Any questions? Just type there. Okay. Let's see. Look at the third question. Okay. The following situation describes two different situations related to human defense system. Okay, so they give you a what they call a statement, all right, or petikan, right, an excerpt. Situation one: bacteria Streptococcus pneumoniae causes pneumococcal disease, which can cause permanent disability and death. Okay, they're telling you this bacteria's name. What can it do? In Malaysia, babies are given the first pneumococcal infection at 4 months to prevent the disease. Now that means he's talking about, vaccination. Babies are given this injection, followed by a second dose at 6 months old, and another third dose, the third one, at 15 months old. Okay, so this is the first situation. You need to know what they are referring to. What kind of immunity is this? Where babies are given injection at 4 months, and then the same dose at another time, 6 months, and then 15 months. Okay, situation one. Now, situation two. Let me give you two things. That means they most probably want you to compare and contrast. So in every essay question that I've seen so far in SPM, there's at least one question that requires you to compare and contrast. So be prepared to write comparing and contrasting your A and B, two things, right? Okay. Situation two. These things cause pain, swelling, and redness. Okay, so this is another type of response, right? During the sting, the poison from the insect flows through the victim's body. So this person has been bitten by bee, right? So this causes reaction. Your body will give a certain reaction and probably allergy, such as fainting, and then a drop in the blood pressure. Okay, so some people will be having this response of dropping in blood pressure when bitten by bee stings, bitten by bees. For treatment, an antihistamine injection is given. Okay, this injection should be given if the person is stung again by this insect. All right, now you notice situation one and situation two are two different types of immunity that you're giving to the person. Okay, does anyone recognize what is the first type where babies are given injection at 4 months old, 6 months, and then 15 months? What is the first situation called? What type of immunity are you giving the baby? And for the second situation, does anybody know what type of immunity are they referring to? Okay, anybody? Elizabeth, would you know the answer? If you do, please type in, yeah? All right. Okay. I see only Elizabeth name there. Is that right? Okay, fine. So just try and answer this. All right. If you cannot, it's still fine. Let me give you the answer then. So this question is again always, comparing and contrasting. These two types of information, that is the two types of immunity involved in these two situations. So 10 marks. Okay. So what are the two types? You need to know the names of. There are actually 4 types of immunity if you remember your lesson, Form 4 lesson, chapter 11. Yes, okay, Elizabeth. Artificial, passive. Passive. Now, the first one is vaccination, if you remember, vaccination. So vaccination is actually not passive. Vaccination is active because when the vaccine comes into your body, it is triggering your own white blood cells to produce the antibody. So if you are making the antibody, your own body is making the antibody, it is not passive anymore. It's actually called active. The first one is artificial active immunity. Okay. The second one is passive. Yes. Second one is artificial passive immunity. Okay. Now I show you the answer. Let me just go through now. All right. Now, so first of all, before we talk about the differences, let's talk about the similarity. Don't forget similarity. A lot of students will just, go straight and answer the differences. I will see out of 10, 9 of them will go straight and answer the differences, and they forget totally to write the similarity. Don't do that, because if you do that, you will at most only you will score. If you get everything correct for the differences, you did not write your similarity, you will only get 9 marks. You will not get full marks because you missed out the similarity. You must have at least one or two. Write as many as you can remember. Okay, let's write down. Now, both involve antibodies. Yes, immunity involves antibodies. The only difference is where you get into antibody. Either you make it yourself, the antibody, like the situation 1, or situation 2 is whereby the person inject the antibody into your body. That means you don't make it. All right. So it's either where you get antibody is not important, but both involves antibody to get your immunity. Okay. Second point, the function. Okay, what is the function of this immunity? These two types of immunity? It is to fight infection of diseases or to fight the pathogen. Whatever it is to protect your body. Whether it's the first type or the second type, both situations is to prevent or to fight infection in your body. So that's a similarity. Okay, next one. Both involve high cost. Okay, production of vaccine is not cheap, all right, of course, but still affordable to everybody lah, right? In fact, you go to the government hospital, they will give you for free, right? Because of the government benefits for the citizens, right? So you get free injections for the baby. But what I'm talking about is the cost of producing it. All right, you need to go through a lot of this laboratory procedure to refine the vaccine. And the second one, also producing the anti-serum. Okay, when you're stung by a bee, you also need to make the anti-serum. So both involve cost lah, high cost. Okay, next one. This is also common. This is also a general different similarity. Both involve injection. Whether it is the artificial active immunity or artificial passive immunity, because of the word artificial. Artificial means it's injected into your body. So that is the similarity. Both involve injections or substances are injected into the body. Okay, then one more. Sometimes, these type of injections, they can cause allergies. They can cause side effects. Okay, not everybody can take the vaccination or the anti-serum. So they will cause allergies, they will cause side effects. Sometimes lah, all right? Okay, and one more, both involve interaction between antibodies and antigen. Yeah, because this is the immune system. Immune system includes or involves antigen and antibody response. Okay, so you write at least 2 from here, right? The more the better, all right? And then the rest of the time you dedicate to writing the differences, because differences is always more than similarity. Okay, let's look at the differences. So since the name is not given, all right, like good try from Elizabeth, but it is the situation 2 actually what you mentioned lah, all right? So situation 1 is actually, since the name is not mentioned, you can write. So you can say, put in sentence form. Situation 1 shows or involves artificial active immunity, while situation 2 involves artificial passive immunity. All right, okay? So the first thing is you compare in one sentence if you're writing in paragraph form. All right, so there are either 2 ways you can do it. Number 1, you write it in sentence form. Situation 1 is this, but situation 2 is this, right? So in one sentence, you must write both together in one sentence. Do not ever write the entire paragraph of situation 1 in one paragraph, and then the next paragraph you write situation 2, because the comparison is not obvious. We do not accept this kind of answers. We can accept only the first sentence. So you only get 1 mark. Even though everything is correct, you only given 1 mark. Sangat merugikan, right? It is very, very, what you call that? You write a lot, but actually you only get 1 mark. Okay, so please write either in this way, table form, comparing left side, right side, or in full sentence. Okay, next one. What does it involve? All right, the antibody for the situation 1. For situation 1, antibody is produced by the body itself. That means our own body makes the antibody when we have vaccine injected into the body. We will be making it. Our white blood cells, our lymphocyte will be making this antibody. Okay. Now for the second one, where you are stung by a bee, right? The poison is already inside your body. There's no time for your body to make the antibody. You got to go to the hospital. They give you the anti-serum. Anti-serum is the already prepared. The antibody is already in the bottles. they inject into your body. You don't need to make it yourself. All right. So antibody is obtained from external source, or we call this anti-serum. All right. Now, we will not accept if you take this this answer. Do not produce antibody. No, because it is a negative form of the situation one. You don't say one positive, one negative. If you have any other point to mention, you have to mention it in particular. So does not produce antibody is not accepted as the point for the situation two. All right. You have to say where is antibody coming from. The antibody is obtained from external source or is obtained from anti-serum. That is much better. You write where it comes from. You don't say where it does not produce antibody. Our body does not produce antibody. It's not, the answer is not solid enough. Okay, next point. Right, the effect. How long does this effect last? For vaccination, right, once you get a vaccine, it can last you entire life most of the time. So it lasts for a long time. Your protection will be there. Your antibody will still be there for a long time. Whereas for anti-serum injection, all right, it will last only a shorter time. All right, it lasts for a short period, perhaps a few weeks. All right, then slowly the level of antibody will drop. Okay, because your body is not producing it. So sometimes these substances will be broken down by your body. Okay, next point. Situation one is obtained through vaccine injection. So the name here is the vaccine. You have to mention the word vaccine injection. Whereas for situation two, right, is obtained through anti-serum injection. So anti-serum is actually coming from the word antibody. Right, the serum that contains antibody is called anti-serum. So that one is already antibody bottled up, right, ready for you to be injected into your body. This anti-serum is actually produced by certain animals. Usually we make use of horses, certain animals that we give vaccine to the animal, let the animal make the antibody, and then we take out the blood, we will purify it, remove all the erythrocyte, the red blood cell, and so on, and we leave the serum containing antibody, we call anti-serum. So we let the animal make it for us, and then we inject into your body. Okay, so that is the anti-serum. Okay, next point. Right, we have about 9 points. Right, D5 differences number 5. All right, okay. The injection, what does it have in the vaccine? What is contained in the vaccine injection? The injection contains weakened. Weakened means already not strong. The virus or the bacteria has been processed. So it's either dead or it's weakened or non-virulent. Non-virulent means it's not dangerous. It will not give you the disease. They just want this antigen, they just want this antigen to be put into your body to stimulate your white blood cell to make the antibody. It is not strong enough to give you the disease. Okay. Whereas for situation two, all right, then you don't say the opposite lah. All right, you do not say the just opposite. It does not contain a weakened pathogen. No, you have to mention what it contains. Injection contains specific antibody. So the antibody is already there. Antibody that is injected for situation two is already there. The antibody is there. All right, you just put into your body. Okay, next. Pathogen for the situation one. Pathogen stimulates lymphocytes to produce antibodies. Okay, so the word is stimulate. Whatever that goes into your body is there to stimulate your own lymphocyte, the special white blood cell that produces antibody. All right, that is a lymphocyte. Do not say leukocyte, too general. Do not say monocyte, neutrophil, and all that. That one does not produce antibody. You have to mention lymphocyte. Okay, if you mention white blood cell, probably it's not accepted because it's too general. You have to be specific. The white blood cell that produces antibody, you have to mention it is lymphocyte. Okay, whereas for the situation two, the antibodies will kill the pathogen or it will neutralize the toxin. Then you don't say lymphocytes are not stimulated. We don't want a negative statement of the situation one. We want a positive statement for situation two. So you have to mention what is inside there. So it's the antibody killing the pathogen. All right, okay, you don't need to say antibodies, lymphocytes are not stimulated. You don't want a negative version of your situation one. All right, yeah, clear? Okay, some more. D7. A lot of things you can talk about. All right. Second injection, so the booster, because in the question, they mentioned about the 4 months, after 4 months, you get 6 months, right? 6 months and 15 months. That means it's the second injection or the booster dose is given. When? Why? It's given to increase the level of antibody above the immunity level. So if your level of antibody is too low, that means it's not protected. The first dose is enough, maybe just to raise your antibody level, but it's not strong enough, not concentrated enough to actually protect you. So you need another dose to increase the level of antibody to be above the antibody level. Once it's above the antibody level, that means you are protected. Okay, so sometimes when you do blood tests, right, blood tests, from time to time, the doctor will actually check for hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and so on. So they will check what is the level. If the level is too low, that means you are not immune to it. Okay, you need to take another injection. Okay, for situation 2, when do you give the second injection? The second injection is only given when the level of antibody in the blood drops below the immunity level. When it's too low, you give again. Okay, or when the patient is still infected, that means you did not recover yet. All right, you are being bitten by a snake, let's say. All right, you give you the first one, all right, to neutralize the toxin of the snake, but let's say it's still not strong enough to totally neutralize, or you give the doctor will give you another dose. As long as you still need it, we will give you the second dose. Okay, but it's not to make your body produce the antibody. Okay, next D8. What about the effect? All right, how long does it take for you to feel the effect? For vaccination, situation 1, it takes time for your body to obtain the immunity. So you will not get immediate rise in the level of antibody because it takes time for your body to make the antibody. It takes time, all right? But for the second one, situation 2, it doesn't take time. It's immediate because what they are giving you is the antibody itself. They directly inject the antibody, and that instant your antibody level will rise. Okay, because you are not making it, you are putting the antibody into your body. So instant immunity is achieved. Okay, one more point. Injection, when do you give injection for situation 1? Injection is given before infection. Yeah, this is a prevention. Okay, but do not write prevention because in the question it's already stated to prevent the disease. So if you write purpose of vaccination is to prevention of disease, no mark, because it's already given in the question. In the question said to prevent the disease, so do not repeat. So you say injection is given before infection. That is to actually give you protection now. But for situation, usually it is after. You only get that anti-serum because you have been bitten by a bee or a snake. All right? You will not be, anytime you just want to get your anti-serum. What for? You don't need to purposely go hospital. Oh, I want an anti-serum for snake bite. When you're not even bitten by a snake, you don't need it. All right? So anti-injection is given usually after being infected. All right? Okay. And some also you can give before. For example, typhoid fever, all right, or yellow fever. You can inject anti-serum because you want some kind of protection before, let's say, you go overseas for a visit and you know the country, the sanitation is not very good. All right, so maybe you want some kind of protection. That one also can, but usually injection is given after being infected for the anti-serum. All right, okay. So altogether you will have here 9 differences, and just now there got 6 similarity. So the point here is you want to get 10 marks, you must at least have 2 similarity and 8 differences, or 6 similarity and 4 differences, as long as you can make up 10 marks. All right, okay. So this is one full question. So please remember that it's very likely you have 3 essay questions, right? Question 9, question 10, question 11. At least one of them will have comparing and contrasting. So go and look up all the things that you can compare and contrast, memorize your points, and be prepared to write it during the exam. All right, okay? So That's my lesson for today. All right. I'll have some more lessons with you for next week and the week after, just before your SPM now, just to revise certain difficult questions. All right. Okay. So let me give you my Telegram username in case you would like to ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer your questions if you would like to ask me certain things. All right. So let me give you this. Very good. Okay. So anybody who has any questions can type in here or you can message me through Telegram. All right. So I'll show this. Yeah. Okay. At the same time, you can check out my channel www.youtube.com /Tom. So a lot of questions that I've already done and also topics on Kung Fu and Kung Fan. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, Elizabeth EL. Yeah. You're most welcome. Hope to see you again another time. So let me give you my channel again. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Copy my channel. You can copy and go to my channel, click on it and have a look at what videos that we need. Okay, all right. So thank you. Hope to see you next time. All right, bye bye.